Hey everyone, I am really happy to see you today. It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means? It is time for confidence strategies. Confidence strategies with Carmen Milagro. We're going back to the basics. We are talking to different people from all areas of life, and we want to get to know them as human beings, as real people with answers to some of the challenges that life and career may or may not be a part of their journey. Confidence strategies is designed so that it gives me the platform to showcase positivity in various forms and topics, ideas and resources. But I really do want to introduce you to different people. And tonight's guest is pretty special. He's an old friend of mine. We go way back. We were just talking backstage in the green room, in the virtual green room, and we realized that we've known each other for quite a long time, about 16 years. So I'm excited that he's going to be joining us. Tonight's webisode is once again sponsored in part by Music City Hit Factory. And our guest is none other than New Jersey's own Tommy Grasso. Now, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about him in my words, and then we're going to let him, bring him on and let him tell you in his words some of the things that we're going to talk about, right? So he's a Jersey boy, born and bred, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a singer-songwriter, and he grew up in a musical family. As a 16-year-old, he had his first gig at the iconic Bitter End in New York City's West Village. And for that, believe me when I tell you that that's got to be one confident 16-year-old to have that as his first gig, right? You've got to be pretty damn confident to do that. And I'm really happy that he started his journey there, and it's leading him to our interview today. Tommy spent most of his early 20s playing the Jersey club circuit, fronting bands, playing guitar, and developing his craft. He moved on to projects that took him around the country. He's been to Europe and Japan, South Africa, and Broadway, back to Broadway. He did have a 3-year detour here, so he does have some ties to the Bay Area. He was here between 2003 and 2006. At that time, he was playing guitar and keys for Meneketti. And for those of you that probably should remember, that's Dave Meneketti from Y&T. So that was Dave's solo project. That's how Tommy and I met. I would like to welcome him. He is a dear friend and a rock star. Those are the best kind to have. I'd like to bring you on. And Tommy Grasso, here you are.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
It's good to see you. I'm really excited that I know it's later for you there at home, so thank you for spending your evening with us here.
Absolutely.
It's much appreciated.
Hey, we're spending a lot of time at home. I think that's pretty much everywhere though, right?
So I had a really good chance of catching you at home tonight.
Yes. Daytime, nighttime. It's all home time.
Yeah,
Good.
It's a strange time.
Indeed.
There's some definite challenges, as we all know, but at the same time, Tommy, you and I were talking about, kind of catching up a little bit before the show, and there's some good things that come out of our strange 2020, and that's what we want to focus on. That's what we try to focus on here on Confidence Strategies.
Okay.
We know what the circumstances are, and we are dealing with them, but at the same time, I for one like to look at the possibilities for the future and also the present. It's not every day that I get to talk with you and get caught up with you, and it's not every day that you get to talk to a whole new audience out here in the Bay Area. So
absolutely. One of my favorite places to be, by the way.
Right. I was wondering if you could sort of tell us in your own words. I know that you grew up in a musical family, and I believe, and maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free. But you're the youngest of five?
Youngest of five.
Five. Okay. So
That's right.
what was it like growing up in New Jersey in a musical family? I mean, was every night like a jam session?
Wasn't every night, but pretty much. There was a lot of jamming going on, especially with my mom and dad, also singers.
Right.
Um,
So definitely one in the family.
Yeah, and they met singing opposite each other, like in like a variety show, like at church. You know, that's how the whole thing started.
Right.
And when I was just a really small boy, my dad ended up building, because he was a carpenter for trade, building an extra room on the back of the house so we could have a music room. And it was filled with, the first thing that came in was the piano, and my brother wanted to play drums, and my dad played upright bass, so that was there, and my brother played guitar, and it was kind of madness. And that room not only amused and occupied us five kids, but like the whole neighborhood was there, you know.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because everybody thought that was fun. I mean, it's fun to play music, and it's fun to make noise, even just to have fun with it. So
Well, and we were talking a little bit earlier about just how it seems that one of the great things that's coming out of our current, shelter in place and everybody being at home is that perhaps there's more of this happening now. This
there's no
connection with
doubt.
family,
There's
right?
no doubt. There's no doubt.
Something that maybe we strayed away from a little bit.
Well, I think that's nothing but fact. That's actually needed to happen, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that, it's great in any way that all this really dark disease has fallen on us. But
No, of course.
if you look to what the opportunities are presenting because of it, I had 6 months home every day with my 5-year-old son, which I would have never had at 5 years old. I mean, I get to see him every day, but our family has been home every day. And in those formative years, I think that has meant so much to me. And hopefully he'll take what it means to him with him throughout his, the years coming.
Right. Well, you had mentioned earlier about, that the truths are now they're coming directly from you because of this situation.
Yeah, we have to be careful because we are the truth if there is a truth right now.
Right. Well, we are certainly for our children and our family.
Yeah. Let me reword that. There is a truth. There's always been a truth, but it's, what we present to the kids is what they're going to get from understanding the truth. So I think that's a responsibility for me. And I want to make sure I at least pass the ball in the correct correct way.
We're the family. We're the most reliable source that we have right now.
Right.
Like for values and traditions and discussions. And
that's right.
Like this is the most reliable source that our children have right now.
It's true.
And then there's music. And then there's art. For me in the education part of things, I think that there could be this whole renaissance of how we used to, or at least I used to be taught in school. I used to have music every day.
Right.
And art and all kinds of different things that have been eliminated. So maybe looking towards the future, maybe that's what we can dedicate this webinar, this webisode to, is just looking to the future.
Sure.
And I kind of like the sound of that.
It's very cool. I definitely remember we had it once a week. We had music class in the younger grades. And, the teacher, she would come around in this little AV cart and fold with tambourines and recorders and stuff. And I just was looking forward to that like
Yeah.
with bated breath, like every moment until it happened. And some of the kids, just like any generation, there'll be kids that would be excited about that, and other kids would be just like waiting to go outside, and I wanted to do that too. So, but very quickly I had memorized every instrument on the cart just in case she asked. So that was my own assignment to myself,
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
and that enthusiasm, right? It carries us. It carries into our lives as artists and musicians. I mean, everything that we're talking about here, it's sort. I think I know the answer, but would you say that for you specifically, that being a musician was a part of your DNA, or is it something that is, that whole conversation of nature versus nurture? Is it a combination? Is it, what do you feel that it is for you?
I don't think there was any way I could have got out of the way of it. To be honest, it was just in our house, and it was I loved it from the very beginning,
Right.
and yeah,
Definitely DNA. That's what I
yeah,
assume.
and as the youngest of five, not all of us are professional musicians.
Right.
My brothers still, and we're very highly involved in audio engineering too. So my brothers and I are, we play in a band whenever we can be in the room together still, because brothers. But whenever we do get in the room together, the magic is there in a second, and you can't stop it. It's so wonderful, and I just feel blessed because of that too. I mean, it's amazing.
What's that bond, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Your family, your parents created this for you, and
Mm-hmm.
in your DNA. So, like you said, how can you avoid it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on this whole sort of topic of it, do you feel that because of being raised in a musical family, how did that help you with your confidence level? Like to be a musician, and I've taught this, I talk about it, I've had other guests, we've talked about this specific concept. It's certainly not an easy journey. It's not an easy task when you decide you're going to be a musician, professional musician. That's what you're going to dedicate your life to. But
Mm-hmm.
where would you say that all that confidence stems from? Is it the way that you were raised? Is it a combination of you were naturally born this way? Like, how do you feel like you can define that? It's a pretty. What's your source? What's your source? Really?
That's just faith, I think, in soul. I mean, I've obviously after all these years, and with some really great achievements, like that I'm very proud of, that are spaced out, over the years.
Yeah.
What is it from one achievement, if there's a year or two between the next one or the next goal that you were set out to achieve, what keeps you going in between there, right? And some people that are way more talented than me that I've worked with, in my eyes, they went off on a different road years ago.
Right.
And some people just keep going, and I just don't see the point of not doing it anymore, because if you don't know what the outcome is, why were you doing it at all in the first place? Oh, I hear somebody.
Oh, you do?
Somebody might want to say hello, if that's okay.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. This is my boy. Come here,
Oh,
Grady. This is Grady.
hi.
Grady.
Hi.
How are you? It's so nice to meet you.
This is going to be on YouTube.
Do you know how old I am?
You're 5.
5
What a
and
good
a
guess.
half.
5 and a half. Well, that's even better. But
Grady,
I
Carmen.
heard. Nice to meet you.
And you know what Carmen is?
What's Carmen?
Carmen is in San Francisco.
Oh.
And do you know anything about San Francisco?
I know that place, and that's my favorite place, and I know to go and get bridge into there, and there's cable cars. And they're kind of like trolleys, but they aren't.
Wow, you know more about San Francisco than I
What is
do.
that street that's not too straight? It's kind of crooked.
It's called Lombard Street.
That's right. That's right. I can see that you really do like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one day
And there's
soon.
an island called, and there's an island called Alcatraz.
Yes. Wow. How did you learn all this?
And there's a brown building on the side of the pointy building. And I
Yeah.
don't know what the name of the pointy building is, but for now on I don't know the name. I call it the Pyramid Building.
That's what we call it too. The Pyramid Building, because we all forget. But I think it's still called the Transamerica Building. But I could be wrong.
Could be right.
It's a Miracle Building.
Yeah. But you know, one
Go
day
over
in the
there.
near future, Grady, there's going to be a place called Music City here in San Francisco. And I hope that you'll get to come and check it out.
You like cities, right?
Yeah,
You like cities and what else? Music, right?
music. Yeah.
Right?
What music do you like? Is there a couple of music like
Tom
bands?
Penny or that kind of stuff.
Tom Petty. What else?
Or
Motown.
Motown.
Did I hear Motown?
Yeah. And what else?
Nice.
Let me
You
get,
have great taste in music.
Okay, you getting squirmy?
I want to get off.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you
Well,
say
it was nice to
later?
meet you. Thanks for stopping by. That was awesome. He really does love San Francisco. I'm excited.
Yes, he likes it out there.
Okay, well, now you're going to have to bring him out.
It's gonna happen. He's been there once already.
Uh-huh. But I think with all of this, our sponsor, by the way, is Music City Hit Factory. So it's just perfect.
I love it.
So we were talking about just the source of confidence, and you said it's your faith.
Mhm.
When you say faith, you mean faith in yourself, in your music, in your songwriting, in your skill set, right?
Right.
I'm really happy that you said it, because I think there's a lot of times where people aren't able to, or we've somehow conditioned people not to talk about their source of confidence. And that's what I'm trying to sort of,
I see.
burst that.
I mean, and
Right.
everyone, if someone says their faith, it's whatever they choose to believe in. But there's definitely some external force helping out. There's no doubt about that.
Exactly. And I think that there's a lot of the same feeling, not just for musicians and artists, but for entrepreneurs. Tommy, for me, I made up a word with a friend of mine a while ago and we call ourselves entrepreneurs. And
God love you.
I feel like you are of this tribe. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of artists and musicians that don't think about or aren't taught to think about the business of music, and having other avenues to create, but support and make it sustainable. Now, I could be wrong. I know that we met like in 2004, so we're talking like 16 years. But to my knowledge, you have never not been working.
That's true. That's true.
So if you could share with people, because I think it's really important, whether you're a musician or not, the process of how were you able to focus on being a musician, a songwriter, doing your gigs? I mean, you've played in other bands, you've had your bands, you've produced, recorded, written your songs, you've done your own videos.
That sounds a lot. It sounds like a lot when you say it.
Yeah, well, it is. It is, but then you also ended up on Broadway. So if you could share sort of that whole thing, I'm going to stop talking because you need to share this.
Well, it's a complex answer, but it's something that I've actually been trying to go inside and pull out the answer for myself, because that actually helps. Those type of thoughts help you keep going too, I think. And as much as my folks encouraged us and me when we were kids to follow your dreams and stuff, there was the conversation about, but you need to have something to fall back on too. And we, between my brothers and I, and our interest in audio and how it works and recording, that interest was so, vast between the three of us that we all started learning about that and excelling at that. And so that became the fall back on if we needed to, but it kind of, it's right in the lane next to what we're doing. And I just feel very fortunate that we have that going as well. However, I've also studied and read a lot about people that I've looked up to that achieved where they were going and what they wanted, and there was no question about it. There's something to be said for the only shot I have is that, and I need to go for that. Like
no plan B.
Yeah, for like Eddie Van Halen said, if I'd either be pumping gas or playing guitar, and I remember him saying that in an interview, and I was just like, well, I never had to pump gas, so I don't know what that would have been like to just put everything so straightforward in such a narrow path. So my path has been wide and it's been very fruitful along the way, but it's slow moving,
But yes, I mean, I get what you're saying.
It's fine though, because
right.
It's fine.
Yeah, of course. But from someone who, like myself, who's looking at it, I think because when we're in it, it looks the way that we feel about it. But when I'm looking at it, see, I completely see it as the opposite of what you just said. I see it. You've been in music. You have been doing nothing but music, but you have excelled at various different things in music. I mean, how you've been on Broadway, like how did that happen? I think there's a story in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's plenty of stories. The Broadway, I got to play on Broadway because of my audio engineering. Right. I mean, that's the way I got in.
Right.
I was working in one of the 3 sound shops that work Broadway shows and provide music sound equipment for the Broadway shows, and I became one of their go-to mixers for straight plays and a couple musicals, more straight plays than musicals, but indeed, if you sing and play instruments, you understand how to mix and what it should sound like in a certain enclosed room. So that picked up like incredibly for me, fortunately, with blessings, unbeknownst to or planned by myself. So I think when I was doing Rent at the Golden Gate, this was all the just before the prequel to when we met. Right. I was one of the sound engineers on Rent, which was on a national tour, and they were having a rough time filling one of the guitar spots. And I knew the part because I knew like all the parts because I had toured it for a year as the sound engineer, and the music I couldn't get away from it. So I played some rehearsals for a couple of the auditions and so forth. And that ended up, I didn't actually play that show, but a subsequent show after that, which had similar producers. I was once again a sound engineer on it, and when they were looking for people like in a pinch to fill in, I was asked to do it, and then that led me to playing Spring Awakening, which was Duncan Sheik's first hit on Broadway. So from there, I've been doing a little bit of both, little guitar, little producing, a little sound engineering.
And what were some of the other shows on Broadway that you were a part of?
As far as guitar?
Yeah.
Well, as far as guitar, I've been playing Rock of Ages since it's been on Broadway, and right before the pandemic shut down, it had shut down for several years and then reopened off Broadway in a smaller venue. Right. Pretty much the same show and about 5 blocks over. Right. A little more intimate of a situation in terms of the theater space, but it's the same show, and people still, would scream every every night about it, and it was just a lot of fun. And I mean, who knows when Broadway opens up again, what shows will stand the test of being shut down for 14 months or so, or 12, or however long it's going to be. Right now, they think maybe January, but we'll see what happens. And
yeah, it's just been such a weird, strange.
yeah,
You mentioned before, I think you were like, that was like the epicenter, wasn't it, when this whole thing sort of blew wide open?
yeah,
It was there. You were there.
yeah,
Like it was.
yeah.
How was
Well,
that, being in that moment in history?
well, I still ponder that every night, going, I really dodged a bullet on this one, because I'm so fortunate that I didn't get sick at that time. But on Broadway, the Booth Theater, I was installing the sound system for a production of Virginia Woolf. And this was early March, when it was to preview the following week. And I had planned a trip to San Francisco. But what happened was there was like 1 or 2 COVID-19 total positive cases in New York City at that time. And overnight, it went to 11. And my final day to work that show was on a Tuesday in early March. And I got on a plane the next day to go to San Francisco. And when I got there, there was a text on my phone saying, Broadway shutting down because COVID-19 was found in the building where I was working. So you can't get any closer to it than that. And, and then in San Francisco, that was the first city to shut down. So we tailed out of there real quick. But it was just so bizarre to find out that when I got back, that so many people that I work with every day had gotten sick because they were there in the subsequent days during that week.
Right.
And that showed that production never opened because it was in preview. So it doesn't get any closer than where I was.
Right.
And at the time, there were 11 cases in Manhattan, and from there it just went, we all know what happened after that.
Right.
So and my new song, Reset, that has happened because of all this, and because I had some extra time to just actually work on music.
Right.
Kind of just wrote itself, because it's really just a recollection of me sitting down and going, what just happened? What just happened? And it kind of wrote itself because I was just remembering, those weeks where all this was happening, and then the following weeks and months, and it was a complete song pretty quickly because of all that. And then I just thought it was very important to get it out and have media, kind of helping tell the story, because of what I saw. I thought everyone should be able to see and tie it to that story.
Sure. And I think if it's possible, we might get a chance to hear some of this song.
Sure, we can hear it.
All right.
I wasn't sure if you were going to play the video or if I was going to.
Well, no, I mean, I'd love to. I think we can let everyone know about the video, but if you are inclined, if you happen to have a guitar nearby and you just
see. We can make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. I wanted to sort of come back, as when you were talking about Broadway, it's now coming back to me. The last time that I saw you was when I was in New York, and you were so kind, and you got me a ticket to go see, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Danny Glover oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the show.
Master Harold and the Boys.
Yes. Wow. And I'll never forget, because
that's a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. And we had a chance to meet briefly right before the show, before you went into work. And I had like such a quintessential, Carrie Bradshaw moment. I get out of the cab. I leave my phone in the cab. I've got high heels or high heeled boots on. And
Sure you
you ran after the cab for me and got the cab to stop
I
and
did.
rescued my phone. That was the last time that I saw you. I think that was the last time.
That could have been. That could have been. Wow, I forgot.
Oh, it was I was like, oh my
I
God.
remember now, but yeah, I hadn't thought about that in quite some time. Yeah.
I know. And I was like, oh my God, I think I just made him late for work. I was just so stressed that you were late for work and that it was all my fault.
I'm remembering it now because it was funny that you thought it was so bizarre that I ran up to the car and I was hitting it on the side and opened the window, you would never see that. And,
It was just,
that was typical in New York. Anyway, we got the phone back. So
yes, we did. Thank you so much. I really appreciated that. Oh, that would have been such a disaster. But I mean, life is kind of funny. I feel like, we had some really good discussions, you and I. Just, when you were playing here in the Bay Area, I remember, you felt it seemed to me like you felt really at home. And I remember you telling me that you were really enjoying the bonds with, our San Francisco musicians. I mean, you were playing with Dennis Chambers too. You were playing with Lindsay. I mean, that was a really cool time.
Remarkable.
Yeah, it really that was. I hate to say it, but it's like the good old days, right? Like it was the good old days, 16, 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Or no, the other way. No, it wasn't 18. I don't know, 16 years ago.
Yeah, 2000.
Right?
Yeah, I was out there for at least a year with Rent before all this Meneketti.
Exactly. Yeah. So I met you after Rent.
And I was recording with Dennis and Myron and those guys.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Right.
Times.
They were. I think we were pretty. We were pretty.
Like it was mind blowing to me to work with those people. It's just. And to know them now is just it's equally mind blowing.
Yeah. Have you talked to Dennis at all?
Not recently. I saw him. He did a club date probably about 4 years ago that I saw him at Birdland, and I tapped him on the shoulder. He was after the show. He was just kind of doing the Dennis thing, and I tapped him and I was about to say Tommy Grasso. He goes, I know, and he just grabbed me and he just gave me a hug. I know who you are.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
It's cool
for both of us, yeah.
And it was cool for other people to see that, wow.
Yeah,
he remembered me. I can't remember. He only played a couple songs on my record, but we had some good times in the studio.
Yeah, it was pretty magical, I think.
Yeah,
and it's kind of nice to be able to carry on and carry some of that magic with us and create new magic
every day. Every day you have to carry it with you.
What would you say? I mean, we've talked about Broadway, we talked about your bands but what would you say if you're sitting down, if Grady were to come back and he said, Dad, what's your greatest musical triumph? What would that be?
Whew. Greatest musical triumph?
Mm-hmm.
I think just being able to create on my own now and have my own studio and everything's at my fingertips. So if I'm not creating, I have to ask myself why I'm not doing that. I don't have to blame anybody else or ask anybody else or beg them to help me with it.
Right.
It's pretty much, it's on me if I'm not doing it. So, and there's ups and downs. So if you don't, quite feel up to the task that day, maybe you wait, but you kind of have to push yourself and get it out there.
Well, and it's really no different than other areas of life, right? We have to hold ourselves accountable.
Mm-hmm.
If we are headed towards a goal or trying to accomplish something, chances are we're going to be the ones that have to do it.
It's true.
And so, those are the
Yeah.
conversations that I have with
So-
young musicians and young people all the time. It's very rare to find, unless you're a trust fund baby, right? I mean, it's just, you're going to have to do the work. And someone
Right.
like yourself, who's doing all these different things, I mean, I would say that you have some pretty incredible time management skills that you've developed over the years.
Well, thank you. You haven't seen me lately, but
Well,
uh,
okay. No, but
it's,
all joking
it's,
aside,
it is a challenge and it's a juggle. Everything's a juggle, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it.
yeah. I think when you're pursuing your life's dream,
Mm-hmm.
it can't be anything
Mhm.
less than worth it, right?
That's what it is. We just keep going.
Or why would we do it?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that it doesn't change. I mean, we change as we're growing. So certainly our goals and our path and our journey changes as well.
Sure.
But it's still what you're striving for. It's
Mhm.
still whatever it is, whatever that is. I think that's that's the beauty and the heartache sometimes, because
Yeah.
we've known
There's a
heartache.
lot of that too. There's a lot of that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of that.
Would you say that having the support of family is an ingredient that is really important? Like, I know that, we all talk about follow your bliss and follow your dreams
Right.
and make it happen, but we can't do it on our own. At least I haven't been able to do much of anything on my own.
All I can say, in terms of that is I wouldn't understand how to do it any other way than with amazing support from the family and where I come from, because that's all I've known. And to try to do this without that, knowing how hard it is with all that extra help and support. Yeah. God bless anybody that's, pushed through without that. And there are plenty of artists that
Of course. Yeah.
that haven't had that kind of support. So I just feel blessed and lucky. So there
Well,
it is.
it's deserved too, you deserve it. So it's pretty wonderful that you have it, but it's also something that is deserved. And, I hope that everyone
Thanks for saying
has.
that. That's nice.
It's true. Your heart. I mean, I'm going to go back to that. I've never not known you to not be working. And that is also a rarity, I think, because that dedication, yeah, there's some really talented, people, whether they're musicians or artists or designers, or it doesn't matter what it is, they're very talented. But if you don't have the drive and the determination and the dedication, it's kind of a waste, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of that story. Yeah. That's where it ends if you don't pursue it.
Right. Is your son, do you think he's going to follow in your footsteps? Do you want him to follow in your footsteps?
Well, that's a windy road to follow. I want him to do whatever is going to make him happy, and we are just presenting everything to him that we can in our power, and we'll see where he's excelling quite a bit in the singing area, and he's very rhythmic as well. So he loves that, but he also he loves cities, and he loves engineering. He likes to build bridges. He says he wants to build bridges, and then the next day he says he wants to drive a cab. So I don't know what he's going to do at this point, and we have plenty of time to figure it out. But I'm just going to keep giving him the information, and I'm hopeful that
Right.
whatever he does is going to be cool.
That's great. If he were to decide to be a musician, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give him?
Number one advice: just be yourself. Be yourself and get a metronome. I think those are two very important things. I hadn't thought about that, but I was just looking over and I see my metronome there, and I'm thinking,
Okay.
be yourself is so important. It's so important.
Well, yeah.
And to play in time is pretty important too, because that people notice if you do.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the little details. It's the details of making music seem like it's not a lot of work.
Indeed. I have to plug my, hold on a second.
Okay.
Grady, I ended up kicking out the plug of my laptop.
Oh. Whoa.
I was seeing a battery light going. I don't want to lose connection.
Well, I thought you were plugging in your guitar. I mean, I'd love to, not to be pushy or anything, but I would love to hear you.
Oh, should we play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, do you need a little minute? We can, I can.
This is my minute.
Okay, well, all right.
This is my minute. Is that too loud?
No. You're asking me if that's too loud. Take it away, Tommy.
Are we ready?
Away.
So this is my song called Reset. This is one of my compositions that happened during the pandemic, and it's happening right now. Well, maybe we could get back to the basics. Just a thought. We've got a situation here, we've all gotta face it. Just a thought. Well, every day so many smiles are lost among our faces. Just a thought. So much trouble's jumping out in oh so many places. Here's a thought. Somebody at the reset. We need a reset. What it comes down to. Everybody at the reset. Take some time doing nothing. Just the folks you love and you. Well, I can be a player if we all can be a team. Just a thought. Every day, just begging to be seen. That's food for thought. Maybe we'll awaken. This has all been just a dream, a wishful thought. Something's gonna give when everything is so extreme. Just a thought. Somebody at the reset. We need a reset. What it comes down to. Everybody at the reset. Take some time doing nothing. Just folks you love and you. Everybody at the reset. We need a reset. Reset, yeah. Everybody at the reset. We need a reset. We'll try to spin it, but we've been scheduled to the minute. We never would admit it, but we've been running pretty low. So take some time, just you and me. Let's recharge the battery. Cranking up some Motown on the radio. Do-dum, dum, dum, do-dum. Shut it down, go home today. There won't be any show. It's such a sad thought. We couldn't dream this up even a year ago. That's a crazy thought. So things won't be the way that they were for a while. Turn back the dial. For now we wear a mask, but don't forget how to smile. And get caught, yeah, let them see you smile. Somebody at the reset. We need a reset. What it comes down to. Everybody at the reset. Take some time doing nothing just to put you loving. Everybody at the reset. We need a reset, yeah. Everybody at the reset. It's a down time that we never seem to find. We lost connection, just reset connection. Amazing the effect when we all connect. Reset that thing, unplug that thing, just plug it back in, yeah, plug it back in. Everybody at the reset, we need a reset, reset.
Woohoo! Oh my gosh, all these thoughts and memories. Thank you so much. I loved it. I'm like, I feel like we're back in the studio.
We are. Here
I
we
know,
are.
right? It's a whole different setup, but oh, that was really fun. Thank you. And I have Marie Ellen. You got a new fan.
Hello.
Now, Ellen and I grew up together.
Okay.
And she was my first singing partner. We used to do these duets together.
You guys were up to no good, right?
Well, you know. But thank you. Thanks, Ellen, for tuning in. And thank you to everyone. I hope you're enjoying this because we're not quite done. I want to wrap some things up here. But
Okay.
you know, these are the kinds of moments. Tommy, I mean, I mean, you know me well enough. I live for that opportunity to share someone's new song and be a part of their performance as an audience, as a viewer, but to know someone, you know, to know the artist is something on a whole different level, you know. And so thank you, because these are the gifts that are going to live now on these videos. And you got to share them with everyone that's on now, that is tuning in. You have so many fans, you know, on your coast that are up, I think, and I can't see everyone.
I hope they're up. I hope they're up.
You know, and taking a listen, and then we'll have people that'll share this and replay it, and it's just another, you know, we're not able to see our friends and loved ones for the most part right now. You know, we're not able to sit in the same space with them. So thank you for this gift that you've just given me.
Right.
I mean, just like, I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I hope, like, when we do this again, we figure out how I can play and you can sing a song.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah. That would be fun. I mean, I have to.
I know we need to do the earbud stuff and to make it happen, but we have the technology. We have technology. We can make it happen.
And but I have to say, when you first sent me the link to your music video, I watched it like 8 times in a row. I don't know if I told you.
Fantastic.
So I was like, oh, I love it. He's done it again.
Let's get these views. Tommy Grasso reset.
Right. You know, and of course, the whole premise is to focus on, you know, how we do what we do, why we do what we do in a positive way. But I also like being realistic. And we all know that when you're an artist and you're putting your heart and soul out there, whether you're performing each night or, you know, back in the day when we were performing each night, you're in different cities, you're with, you know, in front of different groups of people. Every so often, you know, we're not everybody's cup of tea, especially when it comes to musical taste and musical preference. I think one of the things that I really like to focus on when I'm working with young up and coming musicians and artists and young people just in general is you've got to have the faith, like you talked about, and the confidence in yourself.
Do not give up. Yeah.
To just, you know, I mean, you're going to have people that aren't going to be your biggest fans. They're not going to be the biggest cheerleaders. How do you deal with that as a professional doing this for, you know, your whole entire life? Are there some tips or is there some advice that you could share with anyone who's watching, really, on how to deal with the criticisms and sometimes people just aren't kind?
Well, a lot of times people are not so kind. um,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
that's an everyday battle. That question, and the answer might change from day to day too, because we're all just people, and we music is emotion. So uh, there's got to be a way to just ask yourself, is this reaction, or are these people that are not giving me positive reinforcement, is there a way to get past this so we can keep going with this? Because I'm pretty sure they don't know what we've been through, and they don't know what it takes. And am I that concerned with that person's opinion? Really? I mean, we do. I mean, honestly,
No, I know. I love it. Believe me,
and it's
everything you
hard to
say.
say that because I'm not a boastful kind of. That's not kind of like my thing. I don't really do that, but
I know.
um, you have to get some armor, like, and it grows on you as you get older.
Oh,
As I'm here to, because if you asked me, 10 years ago, what that would have been totally different. Actually, yesterday, if you asked me, I would probably have not said something so bold. But it's not easy, and the people that you're. Oh, look who's here!
yes.
Hi guys, I come downstairs.
Thank you for staying up and watching.
All right. Um, it's a constant battle, and you just have to keep asking yourself how much you love doing it. And my dad once said to me, he goes, if this doesn't make you happy, why are you doing it? Does it make you happy? And I said, oh yeah, it makes me happy, but not all the time. And he goes, well, does anything make you happy all the time? And I said, hmm.
Hmm.
And then he goes, I said, well, a lot of people are saying that, the music business is so hard. And he goes, well, everything's hard. I mean, any career that you could pick is going to be a challenge. So it's really perspective, and you have to pick your battles on what you think fact is when somebody's not so happy with what you came up with. I mean, it hurts, yeah.
Of course.
Every time I put something out, it might be a little bit longer before I recover as I get older, because oh man, I thought everyone was gonna love that one.
Right. Right.
But you just you just have to keep going. You just keep going and keep doing it, because um, you're not going to make everybody happy with every song, or if you're an artist, not everything you put on the wall is going to make everybody go, oh wow, that's remarkable.
Right.
But you might touch one person with it,
Exactly.
and that person might relay the message, and it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it.
It is. It really is. And there's so many different ways that people consume music and art. So I would venture to say that, you were talking a little bit earlier about the wealth of wisdom that your father imparted and shared with you in your life. And I would venture to say you were listening. Now it's your wealth. It's your knowledge. You're passing it on here to whoever is watching and to who may ever watch later. And Grady, I mean, he's
Hi,
hearing you.
Grady.
And
Hi, Jen.
and it's pretty cool. I think that that's part of your legacy. It's a part of your music. It's a part of your family history.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
thank
is.
you for sharing that.
And Grady is a part of yours too. So
That's right. And one of these days I'll get to meet Jen.
I hope so.
It would be really fun.
Jennifer is my wife, and Grady
Yeah.
is on a little bit earlier. I want to say hi to those guys. Hi, guys.
Yeah. I know that we've taken up almost a full hour of your time, and I know that you need to get back to your
On
family.
pandemic time, that's not a lot.
Okay. So I was thinking that, maybe you might want to just say goodbye with another song, or a couple of.
Sure, sure.
I don't mean to put you on the spot because my favorite of all time is Two Streets. That's what I was fishing for.
Okay.
But you don't have to. I can
Twist my arm, would you?
And then we'll let you go after that, I promise.
Okay.
My favorite. I remember when you were first writing this song.
Grady, you want to come down and sing this with me?
Is that a yes?
I don't know. We'll
Okay.
see. He might join. He might join for a cameo.
Okay.
Well, I've been walking through this nameless crowd. See those eyes of yours, lips of yours, your face is all around. I put it all together, played it back in my head. Again and again, last time I saw you, what happened and just what was said. Two streets in an avenue, I'm looking till I lay my eyes on you. And it's been so long since I've seen her. Hope I know what to say and do. Two streets and an avenue, I'll be face to face with you. You know this city bring out a need in you to survive. Well, are you gonna stand and fight, or will it eat you up alive? Okay, I'm back in the neighborhood, and it feels so good. The glow of the neon lights tugging into the hallway of our old cafe, where everything seems so right. Two streets in an avenue, I'm walking till I lay my eyes on you. And it's been so long since I've seen her. Hope I know what to say and do. Two streets and an avenue, I'll be face to face with you. We had it all those days, but we let it slip away. Our fire burned so bright, we couldn't keep the flame alive. I've been thinking about things I've learned, how a flame can cease to burn. Thinking about wasted time, now the light begins to turn. So now we're just friends, that's where it ends. Just say you wanna see me today, or meet me at the same place, you the old place. You and me talking the old days. There was a party all around us, it always seemed to find us, and in a minute it was all gone. I'm walking two more city streets to see how you've been since you moved on. Two streets and an avenue, I'm walking till I lay my eyes on you. And it's been so long since I've seen her. Hope I know what to say and do. Two streets and an avenue, I'll be face to face with you. I'm walking two streets and an avenue, I'll be face to face with you. Still walking two streets and an avenue, I'll be face to face with you. I keep on walking through this nameless crowd.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Oh, what a fun time. I'm so glad that we were able to do this.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to come back on.
Absolutely, anytime.
Okay, that's you're going to make that happen.
I've got some more songs I've been working on throughout this stay-at-home process, and they're almost ready. So
okay,
there's more coming, and I wish you the best with the show, and thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, Tommy. Before you go,
sure.
How can people connect with you? Where do they go to find you?
TommyGrasso.com.
Say that again.
Website. TommyGrasso.com. TommyGrasso.com.
Okay.
Find me on TommyGrasso.com on Facebook. It's a Tommy Grasso music channel.
Great.
and I post most of my stuff there too. I'm running a little kind of a little special. If you become one of my subscribers to my my mailing list, you get a free download of the video.
Oh, all right then. You heard it here first,
Yeah.
folks, or maybe not first, but you heard it here.
Well, the video is on YouTube, so you can get that, you can see that, but you'll get a free download until it's available on iTunes,
Right.
which they've been kind of dragging their feet. So it's going to be about 3 weeks till that happens. So
Right.
if you want a free download, check out TommyGrasso.com, and you can get Reset free for another 3 weeks.
Great. Thank you so much. And
Carmen, it's so great to see you.
thank you. It was likewise, Tommy. Thank you so much for sharing your gift or your talent, your story. And if you are also a member of our Facebook group, you can connect with your new fans.
I'm going on right now.
All right then.
I'm going to do it.
Thank you. Good night, Tommy.
Thanks everybody for watching. TommyGrasso.com.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Bye. That was it. That was one of the most fun I've had in a while, to have such a talented, unique artist share his time with us is very special, and I'm very grateful and very appreciative. You know, I think it's one of those, again, the magic of music and the magic of just trying to focus on positive things. That doesn't mean we're discounting all the other things that are happening. But in this show and in this manner, we want to be able to inspire you to find some joy. And for me, it's always about music. That always brings me joy in all the different facets and different ways. But to spend time with artists who are so kind and giving of themselves and their time and their talents and their energy, that makes it even better, in my opinion. So I hope you will all check out Tommy's new video and go to tommygrasso.com and tune in next week. I'm so grateful that you were here with us this week. This was a pretty special show. We haven't had a live performance on the show yet, so I'm really loving this. I think this is going to have to happen more often. And then next week, we will also have a very special guest. And once again, thank you, Tommy. Thank you for just hanging with us tonight. Next week, we are going to be talking to a very special guest. She is a PhD and a CBD therapist. Her name is Dr. Katerina Rosakis, also known as Dr. Kat. She's going to have a tough act to follow. I'm going to have to forewarn her. But we, I also just wanted to say that we will cover different topics and we will cover different industries and all of that. But I can see that we are going to definitely focus a lot more on music. I'm stating that today for the record. Thanks again for staying with us. And we'll see you next week. We are going to be here every Tuesday, whenever possible, at 7 o'clock on Confidence Strategies 101. See, I'm so excited. I can't even talk now because I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I want to go check out the Reset video. That's what I think you should do. Good night, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.